I'm Deirdre, better known as Dee Dee. I am 57 years old, and I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. Single, no children, and that's me. Breast cancer survivor of 10 years now, going into the 11th year. I was first diagnosed in December of 2007. I really remember that year because that's the year I got hired for the Syracuse Community Health Center. And I got my health insurance that September. My doctor sent me for all my tests, asked me if I had ever had a mammogram. You know, they did the EKGs and all that stuff, and a thorough medical exam. And that December, I found out that I had breast cancer. My mother was taking a shower one day, and she found a lump in her breast. At that time, we didn't understand what it really meant. But when she went to the doctor was confirmed that there was a lump, and he did a biopsy, and it came back cancerous. So she ended up with having just a lumpectomy. We didn't think about any other treatments or any other support groups or any other second opinions. We just left it alone. 3 years later, that breast cancer metastasized to bone cancer. By the time we found out it was bone cancer, it was really, there was really nothing left to do. We watched her. She did the radiation treatments, chemotherapy. At the time was too much for her body because she was already ill. And I watched my mother for like a year and a half after we found out it was bone cancer, fight and battle. It was traveling everywhere, and they were trying to catch it and slow it down with the radiation treatment. Every treatment, her skin got burned over and over and over again, until they finally told us that there was nothing left for them to do. They couldn't stop it. It was going to continue to go, and why continue to put her through that? So we just decided to stop treatments. They gave her 6 months to live. My mother lived at least 9 months to a year after that. But it was devastating to watch her go through that and not be able to do anything about it. But I will say that she was a trooper. She was strong. She didn't complain. She was in pain all the time. When I was diagnosed with breast cancer, the first thought was that I was going to die just like everybody else. My sister was crying her eyes out, and she said, "Dee Dee, I can't go through this again with you." I was like, well, I'm going to do what mommy didn't do, and I'm going to have the mastectomy. But going through that and having a new husband, and is your husband going to love you anymore? You came here with 2, now you're going to let him take 1. How is that going to look? Cancer-free, but 1 breast. Maybe alive, but 1 breast. Praying and hoping it doesn't come back with 1 breast. So I had to talk with my family, and I had to talk with God. Whatever's supposed to be, it's going to be, but I'm going to try this route and see. So yes, I feel like I was more aggressive. Still not knowing the end result, but I decided to do something that my mother didn't do. I asked questions regarding myself that I didn't ask with my mother. Things like, is there anything else that I need to do? Would I need to do radiation once the breast is removed? Do you think I'll need chemotherapy once the breast is removed? And so I got those answers. I just had the one, and the other one I got augmented to match the mastectomy one. So I guess you could say I did have surgery on both breasts, but only one was the cancerous breast. But I did have surgery on both because I had to match the good one with the bad one. I was one of those who didn't need radiation, who didn't need chemotherapy, but I needed that after treatment. I questioned the tamoxifen because I'm like, why do I need to take this? Why? I don't want to take it. If I'm cancer-free, I don't need it. But she told me that there was a strong possibility that it could come back in the other breast. But taking this pill could help, but it wasn't proven, that it would stop cancer. I think she prescribed it for me. She gave me the prescription, and I didn't take it for 9 months. I didn't want to. I said, I'm not taking this. She says, well, if you take it 5 years, and if you get through that 5 years, you're almost guaranteed that it won't happen again, that it won't come back. So I said, well, God, I'm going to just try it. And so I did take that treatment. And 5 years later, when I went to her, and she says, okay, we're going to stop. I just bawled in tears because it was 5 years later. Cancer had not come back. And it was like the best. I still actually have that last bottle. I kept it. as a reminder what I have been through. And I will go into my drawer every now and again, and there's that bottle with the little pink closing top on it. And it has the year that I had the last prescription filled. And it just, I get so overwhelmed every time I look at it because I'm like, I did it. The most frightening moment for me with being diagnosed was that they had to go in twice. I had 2 lumpectomies. And that was the scariest part because I did not have a lump. I did not have a leaking nipple. I did not have a dimpled breast. I had nothing that gave me a sign that I had breast cancer at all. I had no sign, no symptom, no question. And that was the scariest part for me because I'm like, my God, if I don't have what they say you should be looking for, and you've gone in here twice and there's still cancer in there, that was the most frightening thing for me. Ooh, wonderful. After my surgery, I felt brand new. For my whole life, I had small breasts. When I got the opportunity to decide where I wanted to be as far as size was concerned, you could tell me a thing. I was like, yeah, I can get some. I can get some now. I don't play around with my health. That definitely changed. I mean, I was always big on my health, always, because that's how we were raised to go to the doctors on a regular basis anyways. With God's grace and talking about it and the support that I have, I'm going to get, if it, whatever it is, it's going to be. And I'm going to get through that too. I've learned to just let the process flow, because whatever it's going to be, it's going to be. It's about how you look at it. When I had my mastectomy, the nipple was gone. I decided to do it because I wanted them both to match. And the tattoo artist was so good. I didn't know that you could do nipple reconstruction as well. So I'm like, gee, boy, I done got jackpot 2 times. If I had to do the whole thing over again, I sure would. Before the reconstruction, I continued to look at myself, ask myself, do you want to reconstruct, do you not? I thought more about my husband at the time, how he was going to look at me. The truth of the matter is I don't think he handled it well because he didn't touch me. He just couldn't. I look at myself today and I feel like I'm a beautiful woman. I am just who I'm supposed to be. This is the path that God chose for me. I'm going to embrace it. I feel beautiful every day. I am a beautiful African-American woman who God chose to be in this spot. And he chose me to talk about this story so that it can bless someone else. So that's the beauty for me. It's not about the physical beauty. It's about the inner beauty. Some people, they get to the point where they don't care. I continue to upkeep. I keep my hair done. I keep my nails done. I keep my feet done. I'm constantly shopping. I feel beautiful. Yeah, I do. And I continue to do the things that make me feel beautiful. I have another scar that I have been carrying for years and years. I had spinal surgery years and years and years ago. So I've carried that scar my entire life. I've carried that scar. And it's a very visible scar as well. But so, I'm familiar with scars. My family was a great support. I spoke to a few people about having this cancer and how petrified I was. And one lady gave me the telephone number of 2 women that were breast cancer survivors, and they were Black women as myself. And you don't know people, so you don't call them. But my spirit kept saying, call these people. This lady has told you about to call them. So I called one of the ladies, and she talked to me just like I had known her. She talked to me over an hour and a half about breast cancer and how she was a survivor and how she had lost her hair and how she had chemotherapy and how she was Black, all her challenges. She stressed support. Talk to people. Let people know how you feel. Ask questions. Whatever you need to do. So I did that with her. And I called the other lady, and it was the same thing. The lady who introduced us took me to her house. There were 6 women. African American women who were breast cancer survivors. They were just full of life. And I walked into that room thinking that I was going to die, because that's all I knew. But to see them laughing and talking about their experience and what it was like for them, but look at me now, it gave me so much hope. I knew at that moment that I was going to be okay. If I just stuck with them and God, I was going to be okay. Every so often we get together in Benita's dining room and just talk. And we were sitting around during the holiday time and we just loved each other so much. Well, let's go to Christmas dinner. Okay, let's do it. And at that dinner, we decided that we needed to keep this going, that there were more people out there that needed us. And so we sat there and we decided to just be a group. One of our sisters thought about the fact that we were all African American, but that there were different shades of African American and different nationalities in the shades. And we wanted to let those people know that, look at us. So she said, how about shades? I'm like, wow. Of inspiration, I'm like, wow. And that was just it. We have come to find out that our calling is not just for breast cancer. We have had women come through that group that have not had breast cancer, but that have been suffering with some type of cancer. And we have been there to support them throughout the whole thing, and they have stayed. Don't panic. That's the first thing I would tell anybody is don't panic. It doesn't matter what stage you are in, don't panic. Just take a big, deep breath and center yourself, and then you can move forward. Then I would tell them to call Shades Inspiration and we'll help you through it. Do not let anybody just tell you something the first go round. You have the right to a second opinion. Look it up. Google can answer any question you have. Google will answer it for you. I'm still overwhelmed that I was a part of that. That my face is connected to those breasts for everybody to see. It was so professional. I felt like a star. The camera and the makeup and the touch-ups and this, I was like, wow, this is good. And then to walk into that gallery and see the work that Cindy had done and the character that she pulled out. Words can't even describe how full I was to have been a part of that. But I just thank you for allowing me to be a part of it. That was an experience that I will never forget.